All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been talking, a lot of AppInventor2 with you, and I'm just going to continue doing that right now. And I'm right here at www.appinventor.org/book2. This is a book, I've got a hard copy of it, but the book is 100% online. So again, if you go out to www.appinventor.org/book2, you'll find it. What I'd like to do is do several lectures and go over most, if not all, of the chapters in here. I'm not going to go over the foreword or the preface, but I'm going to start right with Chapter 1, which is HelloPurr. All right, this is a program where this is a button right here with a cat on it. That's a label that says Pet the Kitty. You click on the picture of the kitty and you'll hear some sound. All right? So, what we're supposed to learn in this chapter: how to build apps by selecting components and specifying their behaviors, how to use the component designer to select your components, how to add media, in this case sound and images, how to use the blocks editor, App Inventor's live testing, and finally how to package apps and build and download them to a device. Now, I'm not going to be able to get through all of this in one lecture, so probably most chapters will be more than one lecture. All right? Now, they mention you can start App Inventor by opening your browser and going to ai2.appinventor.edu, and you'll see that when you do go there, this is what you get. It comes up and it says, hey, I want you to log in. So I've got several accounts, and there's my wife's account, but if I come here, I've got an account that I call jpscott@appinventor@gmail.com. So when you start up App Inventor, you get pushed off into, you have to log in basically through Gmail. So let's see if I can remember. And this comes up with your projects window. This is a project I created in the past. It's no biggie right now. But you'll notice I've got a lot of different projects out there. One of the ones I don't have out there is this HelloPurr, so I'm going to build that in here. But what I want to show you, I'm just going to bring up a project. So I created a bunch of simple Hello World projects. All right? And I guess you're going to have to kind of just disregard this stuff because I don't want to. I'll tell you what, let me delete these buttons. And then we'll have our little Hello World project. All right, and I'll remove that also. There we go. So when we look at the code for this, you'll see that it is very, very small. That's it. All right. And we're going to talk about how we did this in just a minute. But what I really want to get across to you, what I really want to get across to you here is the fact that when you're working on this stuff, first, you don't have to write any code. And second, I just want to mention these are the major components that you see on your screen. This is known as the palette. For lack of better words, it's like a toolbox. Under the user interface tab, again, you have most of the tools that you'd use most often. Then we've got a layout tab, which allows you to create horizontal arrangements, which again go from left to right. Horizontal arrangements with scrolling capabilities. Table arrangements, where you set up an arrangement when you specify the number of rows and columns. Vertical arrangement, which goes from top to bottom or up and down, however you want to look at it. And a vertical scroll arrangement, which is the same, but it has the capability to have scroll bars. You've got media. One thing AppInventor2 is very strong about is its ability to go and use media. So notice you can hook up and you can use a camcorder, a camera. There's an image picker. There's a lot more. The ones we're going to concentrate most on are going to be sound and text-to-speech. All right, there's drawing and animation. You'll notice there's only 3 tools in here. All right, The key tool is the canvas, because you cannot draw a ball or an image sprite without having a canvas first. A canvas is just that. It's kind of like an artist's palette. So in other words, it gives you an area where you can go and put stuff in. A ball is just that. You can set the size of the ball, which is the radius. You can set the color of the ball. You can make the ball go left to right, up and down, etc. An image sprite is something you usually replace with some kind of an image. All right. Then we've got sensors. You can work with the accelerometer. Okay, so you can shake your device to make it do something. There's a clock component in there, a barcode scanner. I'm not going to read them all to you. You can see them. The orientation sensor, which says, do you want to allow the user to run your app in both portrait and landscape modes? And you can see the other ones. There's a social link. All right, these four here all work together. Contact picker, email picker, phone call and phone number picker. You can hook up to Twitter. There's storage, which allows you to write to files and to use a database. The TinyDB, the difference between the database, TinyDB and the TinyWebDB is, again, the TinyDB is for a single user. TinyWebDB is if you have multiple users. There's connectivity. So you can set it up to work with Bluetooth or to go from the web. It works directly with the different Lego Mindstorm stuff. All right. There's experimental, which allows you to work with another database, and extension. We're not going to talk about those. But that's what's in your palette. Your viewer, this is basically the equivalent of your phone. Okay. Now up here, this is called the title. And right now it's screen 1. But screen 1 is also the name of this component. That you can't change. So you'll notice I can't click rename and do anything with that. All right. But I can change this title if I want to. So I can come down and find the title and say, please, how about Hello World app? Hit enter and notice how my title changes. If I decide that when the program runs, I don't want the title to be seen, I can click this. It still shows on the screen, but when I run the actual app, it will now no longer show. And I can work with a version, number, and the name, etc. Components again. Notice if I click here, now my button's active. If I click here, now my screen is active. If I click here, now the text-to-speech component is active. And notice that text-to-speech component is known as a non-visible component, meaning that you can't directly put it in your viewer. All right? And then you see as I change, so there's all the properties, not many, but for text-to-speech. You'll notice button has a lot more. You'll notice that screen has a lot more, or screen 1. All right, so that's pretty much the areas that you see in here. All right, so I just wanted to explain that to you and go over it very quickly because that's what's explained in your book here on page 2. You end up, when you work on this, not technically writing any code, but rather you do a lot of drag and drop. It's kind of like putting puzzle pieces together. So they want us to come in here and start a brand new project and name it HelloPurr. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go to Projects, Start New Project, HelloPurr. Exactly what they say right there. Click OK. And you can see this is all set up now. All right. And the only thing that's there is my screen 1. Designing the components. So again, they talk about the viewer, they talk about the palette, the components list, and the properties. I think we already have. So the first thing they want us to do is to create a label. And then we're supposed to change the background color and make it blue, and the text color and make it yellow, and the font size and make it 20. And the text is supposed to say pet the kitty. Not a problem. So we come over to label, we put it over here. One thing you really should get used to doing right away is changing the name of your labels right away. Develop some kind of a naming convention. I use the old-fashioned Microsoft where I'm going to call this LBL title, not title, prompt. Okay, LBL prompt. And you can see how it changes there. Now they want us to come in, and this is supposed to say pet the kitty. All right, so you can see how that's changed. We're supposed to change the font size to 20. You see how that changes. We're supposed to change the background color to blue. And we're supposed to change the text color to yellow. So that's what they want in here. Now I can go nuts or more nuts if I want to. I can do such things as I can click in here and I can say for my width, I want it to fill parent. Well, watch what happens when I do that. Okay, see that? And now it looks a little funky, so I can tell it that I want the text to align in the center. I can make the text bigger if I want. I can bold the text if I want. I can italicize the text if I want. All right. The height is right now set to automatic, which means let the system figure out how much height it needs. So that's what I've got so far. So I put in that label that I changed to LBL prompt. Did a little bit more than what they ask you to do here, but it's all explained right here. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go and we want to add a button. So I come over to the button, just drag it right under the label and let go. There it is. Now we're not going to have any text in this button because instead we're going to have an image. All right, so I got rid of that, and you'll notice the size changes quite a bit, quite drastically, which is fine. So it says we need a picture of a kitty that we can go here to this. That's what we use. So I'm going to right mouse click on that. I'm going to save the image as it's kitty.ping, and I'm just saving it right to my desktop. It's not part of my program yet. All right. Instead, I've got to go to background image and click none, upload file, choose file, and I've got to find it. It's out on my desktop. There's kitty.ping. I've chosen it. You can see that. I click OK, and there it is. All right. I seem to have lost my book, so let me bring that back up again. Again, we're in Chapter 1, the HelloPurr, and let's check my time. All right, I'm at 13 minutes. I'm only going to go a couple more minutes. I'm trying to keep these videos around 15 minutes long each. So we went over that. We came in, we talked about the palette, the viewer, the component list, and our properties window. We added a label, changed the color and the size and the font, etc. And we just added a button. And we remove the text for it. Okay? So next we're supposed to go and add another file, and that file that we're supposed to add is from, again, it's a purring sound. There you go. So I'm going to right mouse click on this and do a save as. That's meow.mp3, which I'm also going to save to my desktop. All right. And now that I've done all that, I want to come back in here and I'm going to add a sound component, which means I want to incorporate sound into the program. I click my media tab, I go to sound, and notice when I drop it here, it appears down below because sound is what's referred to as a non-visible tag. All right, so I want my source, I want it to be set, upload file, choose file, and I want to choose meow.mp3. All right, so now I'll have my sound. When I come back in the next lecture, I'm going to continue on the trail here and keep going.